Welcome to Fix It Home Improvement, covering projects that every homeowner should know and great products for home and garden.
Hi, I'm JC, and this is where we share weekly home improvement tips. I'm here with my co-host, Cindy.
Hello, JC.
Hi, Cindy. This week, we're going to talk about paper wasps, hornets, and yellowjackets, and we'd like to thank Megan Mason.
I thought we were talking about murder hornets.
And murder hornets. And we'd like to thank Megan Mason for liking and sharing the podcast. And this week, we have an interview with Easy Breathe about their whole house ventilation systems. And Cindy is finishing up book 12, and we'll let you know when you can download it from Amazon. Scientists have found fossilized wasps that were trapped in tree resin that look very similar to modern wasps, and the amber they were trapped in dates back 100 million years. Historians say wasp larva has been eaten as a source of protein in rural areas in Asia for centuries. And in Japan, wasps are raised in wooden boxes, or hunters track down large nests filled with larvae. The larvae is pulled out of the nest with tweezers, then they cook it or fry it in a variety of recipes.
Yuck.
And they say wasp larva tastes like chicken. They also say wasp larva and the nest, so some
What don't they say doesn't taste like chicken?
Well, some recipes call for the larva and the nest, and they say that tastes like shrimp. The New York Times says the giant Asian hornet is considered a delicacy in Japan.
Yeah.
The larvae or the grubs are pan-fried or steamed with rice. They'll also take live giant hornets and drown them in a vodka-like alcohol, and it causes them to release their venom into the liquid. They say it gives the liquor an extra kick. And we've gotten a couple emails asking about the giant Asian hornets that have been spotted in Washington State and Canada. A few newspapers gave
Because that's what we need right now.
Yeah,
is
really.
a murder hornet.
Right. They named them the murder hornets because they can wipe out a colony of honeybees, and they're responsible for 30 to 50 deaths a year in Asia.
Of people.
Yeah, amazing.
That's crazy.
The male giant Asian hornet is about 1.5 inches long. The queen can be 2 inches or larger. They have a distinctive yellow head with a black tooth that they use for digging.
That looks scary.
Yeah, they have a 1/4-inch stinger and a very strong venom. It can actually melt the flesh around a sting site.
Lovely.
They can sting you multiple times, and when they feel threatened, they release a pheromone that stimulates other hornets to attack. And if you're stung by multiple hornets, it can be deadly. When the giant Asian hornets find a honeybee colony, they mark it with a pheromone so other hornets in their colony can find it, and then they'll launch a coordinated attack on the bees. 20 to 30 hornets can kill a colony of 30,000 to 50,000 bees in just a few hours.
Wow.
When the hornets attack the hive, they bite off the heads of all the bees, and then they tear off the body parts to bring back to their young for food.
Wow, this is gruesome.
Amazing what goes on in nature. The larva that they give it to chews up the body parts and creates a substance rich in amino acids that then the full-grown hornets eat. Crazy, huh?
Yes.
Japanese honeybees have developed a defense, though, against the giant Asian hornet. So when a hornet is in the hive or by the hive, the bees send out an alarm. They swarm around the hornet before it can release a pheromone to attract more hornets. They create this large ball of hundreds of bees all over the hornet. They start vibrating their flight muscles, and it generates enough heat that it kills the hornet.
Wow.
There are thousands of different types of wasps. The most common that can be a problem to homeowners are paper wasps, bald-faced hornets, European hornets, and yellowjackets, at least here in the U.S. Mm-hmm. Wasps are grouped in 2 main categories, social or solitary. Solitary wasps usually aren't a problem for people. A female will make a nest, lay eggs, and care for the young by herself. She usually won't have other wasps to help. Social wasps, like paper wasps, bald-faced hornets, European hornets, and yellowjackets, have a queen and then workers to help raise the young, forage for food, and protect the colony. Paper wasps generally have yellow markings on their body and black wings. They chew up wood and plant fiber. They mix it with secretions in their saliva, and they make a paper-like material to build their nest with. And that nest will hold 20 to 100 workers. And they'll make their nest in trees, shrubs, in sheds, under eaves, under gutters, or decking. Cornell University says paper wasps are aggressive and they'll defend their nest if they feel threatened.
Exciting.
Bald-faced hornets have white markings on their head and white and black markings on their bodies. They make nests in trees, shrubs, but they'll also make a nest under a large eave or in a shed. The nests can get very large and they're considered very aggressive. They say it can be dangerous to try to remove or spray a large nest yourself. The University of Kentucky says hornet nests can get to the size of a football, and they recommend getting a professional to help you remove it. European hornets have orange, brown, and yellow markings, and they usually will build a nest in hollowed-out trees or in the walls of a building. Usually a nest will have 200 to 400 workers, and they have a couple of guards flying around the nest just watching for a threat. And if they feel threatened, they release an alarm pheromone that travels through the air to the colony, and it triggers an attack. Yellowjackets have black and yellow markings on their body, and most will make nests in the ground, but they can also make a nest under an eave, in your attic, or inside the walls of your home. They're considered very aggressive, and the EPA says they become even more aggressive in fall when their food preference changes from proteins to sugar. And if you have a nest in your lawn, you can trigger an attack just from putting down fertilizer with a spreader or mowing your lawn. The University of Kentucky Entomology Department says wasp and hornet stings sends more than 200,000 people a year to emergency rooms.
Wow.
When a wasp, a hornet, or a yellowjacket stings you, they inject a venom that gives you instant pain.
Lovely.
Justin Schmidt is an entomologist. It's hard to say. So this entomologist came up with the sting pain index. It ranges from 1 to 4 being the most painful. He says the scale is somewhat relative to who is being stung and subjective, but it's based on him and his team subjecting themselves to insect stings to put together the list and the intensity of the pain. His team says the bald-faced hornet has a pain level of 2. It lasts 3 to 4 minutes. They say it's similar to getting your hand smashed in a revolving door.
Nice image, thank you.
Yellowjacket pain is a level 2. It lasts 4 to 10 minutes. They say imagine a hot cigar on your tongue. The paper wasp is a pain level of 3. It lasts 5 to 15 minutes. It's caustic and burning. They say imagine putting acid on a paper cut.
Ouch.
Mayo Clinic says if you get stung, wash the area with soap and water, apply a cool compress, and then apply a 0.5 to 1% hydrocortisone cream or a baking soda paste to the area a few times a day until it stops hurting. Take an antihistamine to reduce itching. If you have difficulty breathing, swelling of the lips, eyelids, or throat, dizziness, confusion, rapid heartbeat, hives, nausea, or vomiting, call 911. Mayo Clinic says even if you've had a mild allergic reaction to food or an insect sting in the past, you can have an anaphylactic reaction in the future. Your immune system is identifying the substance as a foreign invader, and some symptoms of anaphylaxis would be stomach pain, a swollen tongue, lips, or a throat. You get hives around your head or neck. You have nausea. Your blood vessels dilate, you can get low blood pressure, a constricted airway, and it can actually kill you. So you need to make sure that an insect sting, if you're starting to get symptoms, you take it seriously.
Okay.
Many homeowners will put out wasp and hornet traps in the fall when wasps and hornets get more aggressive, but the EPA says a better approach is getting wasp and hornet traps out in spring and summer, and you're going to catch queens before they set up a new nest, and early trapping is going to reduce the number of wasps and hornets in fall. They say check the areas where you've seen nests in the past and place traps there, and use multiple traps around the perimeter of your lawn. Some other tips they gave: keep garbage cans tightly covered, rinse them out regularly, reduce or eliminate any standing water around your home. Check for any cracks or holes in your siding or access to your attic. Wasps, hornets, and yellowjackets, if they get a chance, they'll make a nest in between your walls. And start controlling wasps and hornets with the least toxic methods first, like trapping, and then move up to the chemicals.
Okay.
The company Rescue has their Y-Trap. Rescue is RESCUE, and their Y-Trap stands for wasps, hornets, and yellowjackets. This is a two-sided trap with 3 types of attractants. It will attract paper wasps, bald-faced hornets, and yellowjackets. The top chamber uses 2 attractants. The bottom chamber uses 1 attractant, and they say it won't attract honeybees. It catches workers all summer and fall, and it catches queens in the spring before they build a nest. So they're recommending get this out in spring and keep using it all summer and fall. Put it about 20 feet away from an area where you entertain, like a deck or a patio, and multiple traps around your perimeter is going to be most effective.
Cool.
The company Terro, it's Terro, has a wasp, fly, and fruit fly trap. It's reusable. The bait for outside will attract wasps and flies, and if you want to use it inside, it comes with a small bottle that will attract fruit flies. Some other top-rated Yellowjacket traps come from Safer, S-A-F-E-R, and Victor, V-I-C-T-O-R. You can also make your own trap with a plastic bottle or a soda bottle. You can cut it down 1/3, take off the lid, flip the top part upside down into the base, and you can fill it with cranberry sauce, apple cider, or apple juice. And in fall, this does a really good job of catching and attracting yellowjackets.
Cool.
If you plan on spraying a wasp or hornet nest, look for a spray that reaches 20 feet or more. Wear rubber gloves, goggles, have the wind at your back, and don't stand under the nest because they should be dropping out of the nest. Look for a spray that says it won't discolor or damage surfaces if you're going to be spraying around siding.
You should do it in the morning, right?
Yeah, either the morning or late at night when the wasps or hornets are in the nest and resting. And a couple of articles I read said don't shine a flashlight at the nest if you're going out at night because it can trigger an attack.
Yeah, lovely.
And they'll follow the light. Some top-rated wasp and hornet killers come from Spectracide, S-P-E-C-T-R-A-C-I-D-E, Terro, T-E-R-R-O, and Bengal, B-E-N-G-A-L. For yellowjackets that are in the ground, the University of Mississippi recommends using an insect powder. Pour it over the opening. It's going to coat their bodies as they try to get in and out, and that insecticide will transfer to other wasps in the nest. It'll take a few days, but you can kill the whole colony. You may have to apply it multiple times. The EPA says spray the opening with a wasp spray and then cover it with a silica gel. You can also use a silica gel by itself. It's considered non-toxic, but you just can't ingest it.
Okay.
We spoke to Erica from Easy Breathe about their whole home ventilation systems. Erica, how you doing?
I'm good. How are you, JC?
Real good, thank you. I was wondering if you could give us an overview of your Easy Breathe ventilation system.
Sure, I'd love to. The Easy Breathe ventilation system is a freestanding whole home ventilation system. What makes the Easy Breathe unique is that we source this system in the lowest level of the house, where the air quality is arguably the worst. Let me explain why we came up with this system. This was in direct response to our customers, because we are associated with, our parent company has been in the foundation repair for over 40 years. So about 20 years into that history, we started getting feedback from customers that were telling us that their dehumidifier was not providing them the kind of results that we were looking for. We offer a lifetime warranty with the foundation repair. So if anything was going wrong, they'd call us and we'd go in to take a look. So we would offer them a second dehumidifier, and then we'd offer them a third dehumidifier, and sometimes even a fourth, in order for the dehumidifiers to do the job of, dehumidifying the air and getting a better air quality. After going in and fixing all of the liquid water intrusion and drains and pumps and battery backups and getting rid of all of that liquid water issue, they still were having an issue of airborne moisture. So after, offering more and more dehumidifiers, they would call us, and now they were complaining that their electric bill was too high because, as you know, those are big energy suckers. So after years and years of this, we finally decided enough. Let's figure out a better way to address the indoor air quality in the basement, because let's face it, that air quality is terrible. So after experimenting with foundation ventilation for about 2 or 3 years, we developed our own product called the Easy Breathe ventilation system, which provides whole home ventilation sourced in the foundation, and we provide up to 6 to 10 air exchanges throughout the whole home every day. And if you think about it, the Easy Breathe does really nothing more than provide an escape for all the bad air that tends to live in basements and crawl spaces.
Interesting. So how does it work?
It's quite simple. We source it in the basement.
Okay.
We create air exchanges, so we get the bad air out. We ventilate the basement much like you ventilate other parts of your home. So let's talk about different contamination sources in the home, right? Bathrooms are a big one. Moisture is generated, odors are generated, and they have spot ventilation that is designed to run while those contaminants are being generated in the bathroom. Then we have kitchens, right? We have kitchen hoods and kitchen fans. We're creating odors, we're cooking and we're cleaning, and we use those fans while we're engaging in those activities. So it's similar in terms of ventilating from a place where contamination is created, but instead of it being just a spot ventilation that's designed to evacuate air and odors and contaminants in a specific location at acute times, we are servicing the whole home indoor air quality issue by sourcing the ventilation system, which is a continuous mechanical ventilation, not spot ventilation, but more of a continuous mechanical ventilation sourced in the basement that not only gets the air out of the basement right away, which is the basement air is possibly the worst air in the whole house. So not only does it rid the home of that bad air, but it also protects that air from rising up into the structure and threatening the indoor air quality throughout the whole home. So it's continuous mechanical ventilation at a very controlled manner, providing 6 to 10 air exchanges a day. Now, the nuts and bolts are, it's a freestanding system, so it doesn't require any linking into any existing duct. We come with our own ductwork that telescopes up an outside wall. There's a 6-inch hole penetration to the outside, much like a dryer vent. That is the exhaust portion. So as the bad air gets exhausted out of the basement, cleaner, drier air from the upper levels of the home come down to replace that bad air. So the basement environment ends up mimicking the upstairs environment. So it doesn't feel any different. Gets rid of odors, gets rid of humidity, and creates a much more enjoyable atmosphere in the basement as well as in the home.
Seems like a very easy way to improve the air quality.
It is, and people say, well, what is the maintenance? And, because we're not changing the air, meaning we're not filtering the air, we're not squeezing water out like a traditional dehumidifier does, and you have to empty buckets or run a hose. We're not purifying, so there's no filter to change. We're simply removing that bad air in its whole state. We're not modifying it. We're exhausting it. So we make room for better air to come down. And, this is a really important thing that we're doing beyond just odor control or moisture control, because air quality has been getting worse and worse and worse in the last few decades. The EPA tells us now that 6 out of every 10 homes are considered sick, which means that the air quality in the house is hazardous for the occupants to breathe. So that's 60% of all homes. So this issue of air quality is very timely right now, obviously.
Sure. And this is something that the homeowner can install themselves, or would you need a professional to install it?
We offer the unit both ways. There's a lot of handy homeowners out there that have no issue installing this. It only takes about an hour and a half to 2 hours. So it's assembling the unit. It has a few different pieces that you put together. Obviously drilling the hole to the outside. Some folks put it through like a glass block or an existing vent in the lower level. Standard installation does require a 6-inch hole drilled through, typically, where the sill plate and rim joists can come together up there. Sure. We can get the Easy Breathe port up and out through there. Very rarely do we have to actually drill through the foundation wall.
So we're just plugging this into a standard outlet?
Correct. Yeah, just a standard 110 outlet. It's very energy efficient. It only draws between $2 to $4 a month in electricity. Wow. So it's about the same amount of electricity as, say, like a 40-watt light bulb. So it's not a big energy guzzler like some of those other appliances we talked about.
Yeah, very interesting. And what would the maintenance be on something like this?
Well, there really is no maintenance. We designed this specifically with that in mind, recognizing how many homeowners, that's one of the things they hate about any appliance, really. So there's a fan speed and a humidistat dial, and those both are set. One is to control how much air is moved, which is the speed, and then the humidistat dial is to set the desired level of humidity. The air will continue to pass through our system until that desired level of humidity is reached. Once the unit senses a drier air quality, it will shut off, and then it will continue to monitor the air, kicking itself on automatically when that humidity level rises. So it is designed to set and forget it. Now, we have learned over the last 2 decades of working with this system that the larger air particles, especially if, like, for example, I have 2 dogs. So I notice that those sort of tumbleweeds of dog hair that get caught in the corner of the kitchen sometimes or in the hallway, I now find those down by the bottom of the Easy Breathe. So those large particles, the Easy Breathe is not strong enough to suck them up and out, but they will collect along the base of the Easy Breathe. So we do ask that people, vacuum around the base of the Easy Breathe every few months, maybe every month, depending on the large, buildup of contaminants that can accumulate along the base of the Easy Breathe.
And if humidity isn't the main concern, can this be set to be running all the time at like a low speed?
Yes, that's a great question. We have many folks, there's a ventilation only mode, and they take advantage of that. We set it at 20% humidity, which is very hard to achieve in a lower level. Okay. And we usually say the fan speed, depending on square footage, somewhere between, medium and high. I have mine set at medium, and I have my humidistat set at 20, and mine runs all the time. But then again, I have 2 dogs, I have 2 cats, 2 litter pans. Right. I have 3 boys. They all play hockey, and they all just stink. So by keeping the air moving, it shut off years ago when we had it set just to operate based on moisture levels. And oh my goodness, did I realize how stinky this house can be. So we immediately went down and changed it, and I've had it operating like that for years.
Interesting. So what types of contaminants will it remove from the air?
Anything that's airborne. That's the beauty of just moving the air, where we're not capturing it in a filter, or we're not specifically looking to affect, moisture levels where we're squeezing water out and it collects in a bucket like a dehumidifier does. Right. Easy Breathe moves air. So as long as it's airborne, Easy Breathe has an effect on it. Things like allergens in the air, bacterias in the air, viruses in the air, fungal spores. So as, things start to off-gas, all those off-gassings, that gas gets collected and it gets evacuated. Any odors, any airborne moisture, things like humidity, any sort of pet dander, dust mites, you name it. We reduce airborne particles by up to 85% throughout the entire home. So when it becomes airborne, Easy Breathe will have an effect on it.
And what types of homes would benefit the best from a system like this?
We say all homes. We source the Easy Breathe in the lowest level. Okay. So folks call us. They may not have a basement. They may not have a crawl space. But if you says a slab home, we install Easy Breathes in all type of structures.
And what is the warranty on your system?
We offer a 10-year warranty. It's the best in the business. And we've been at this, like I said, for the better part of 20 years. And I can probably count on 2 hands the number of warranties that we get in a year. This is a very simple machine. We don't have a whole lot of components that make it very complicated, where things are breaking and having to be replaced. So yeah, we offer a 10-year warranty, no questions asked. It doesn't require a whole lot of effort either, because the brains of the unit are in the base that rests on the floor. Okay. So in the event something does malfunction, we simply send you a brand new base. It's easy to install, mount it right back onto the wall, and there's no need to disassemble all the chute and the penetration of the outside or the vent. So it's a real easy swap out in the event it needs service.
Yeah, seems like an interesting system. Where could we learn more?
Oh, we have lots of ways. You can visit us at easybreathe.com. That's probably your best option. And that's the letter E, the letter Z, and then the word breathe, BREATHE.com. Or you can always reach us by phone at 1-866-822-7328.
Wonderful. Well, I appreciate your time, Erica.
Well, thank you. I thank you so much, JC.
Okay, bye.
That was a great interview.
Yeah, I like products like this. Simple and not a lot of maintenance.
Mm-hmm. Do you have anything else to add?
You can reduce the amount of wasps and hornets around your home if you start putting out traps early in spring and then keep them out all spring, summer, and fall.
Let's wrap this up.
You can subscribe to our podcast on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, CastBox, or your favorite podcast app.
If you enjoyed it, please leave us a review.
You can check out our home improvement videos on our YouTube channel, Fix It Home Improvement.
And you can subscribe to that as well.
You can download our ebooks, Home Improvement Solutions, What Every Homeowner Should Know, books 1 through 11 on Amazon.
If you enjoyed it, please leave us a 5-star rating and review.
You can email us at fixitpodcast@gmail.com. You can follow Cindy on Twitter at FixItCohost, and you can follow us on Instagram, Fix It Home Improvement.
Thank you for listening.
Talk to you next week.
Different.